Welcome back to another episode of Reffing with the Sappers. Today we've got a special episode. Carlos is going to join us for a game where he was the center referee and I was one of his ARs. Aaron and Katie were not on this match. They were off having a good time riding roller coasters, which I don't particularly like to do, so I didn't join them. So joined Carlos, we buddied up, and we did several games together, and this was one of
Yeah,
them.
we refed all day together. That was fun.
Yeah,
This game is Roseville Premier versus Placer United, U16 Boys Fall League.
awesome. Let's get going.
All right, right off the bat, in our first decision, Black has the ball and Yellow sticks his leg in. There. Now, from my angle, I'm about 20 yards towards the center of the circle. It didn't look like a lot. Plus, I waited and I waited for Black's reaction, and you'll see it. He stays pretty much on his feet, puts his hands down, but stays on his feet and keeps going, which kind of led me to believe from my angle that it was maybe a little bit of contact. Basically, black going one direction, yellow going the other direction, and they kind of bumped each other. Not enough at the time for me to call a foul, but looking at this camera angle and in slow motion, I do see a little bit of contact. Yellow's thigh on black's left leg. That probably could have been called.
And sometimes at this age group, calling those fouls early keeps it from getting. No, this game didn't get too heated, except for like one instance at the end of the game, if I remember
Dissent. Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably
Unsporting, actually. Yeah.
this could go either way in my mind. I kind of feel like we should do a half a point deduction for it though, because he clips him on the knee there.
Okay, fine with that.
Okay.
So now then, about 10 seconds after that no call, we see a trip yellow trips black there, and he goes down. Everyone's reaction is yes, there's a foul. I mean, it was more contact than a trip because he does misses the ball completely, hits the foot, and that's what knocks the player down. It's more, I think, the pain of the contact than the trip.
Yeah.
And now, about 4 minutes later, we see a very clear charge. I'm there. You see me. I'm about 10 yards away. Black is coming in, and there he
He
just
bodies
trucks the
him.
guy, and immediately I call it. There's no doubt about it. That's a charge, and he knows it.
It's almost lucky as much as he flies. Sometimes you see they'll get up and they'll bow at each other, but they didn't do any of that.
All right, here we have Black has the ball. Number 10, Yellow is after him. A little ankle biting here and there, but then there's where he holds him, and I saw the holding.
Right
And
there.
just enough, yeah, just enough to pull him off the ball, knock him a little bit off balance, and give 26 a chance to double team and take the ball. So I think that was enough for a foul there.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
And right after that foul, I did have a few words for that player just to let him know I'm watching. He's a little handsy. He was a little aggressive, so I just had to control him. Hopefully, with words.
Yeah. Let them know that you're there. Let
Yeah,
them know that you saw it.
we will see him later on. He'll get fouled a couple times, but he'll try to sell me that foul more than it really is, and you'll see it later. Right. Well, here now we have another no call. I'm there. I'm with inside of 10 yards. The play will come towards me a little bit, and so Black stretches his right foot to try to poke the ball, which he does, and somehow Yellow, without, I didn't see any contact, but Yellow just either misstepped, or twisted his ankle or something and went down quickly. But
You,
nobody asked for a foul, so I didn't see any contact. I was right there.
yeah, you can tell from his body language. It's almost like his leg was out there. He was trying to, and then he's just trying to get his leg back so fast to regain his balance. He just missteps.
Yeah,
So these are the kinds of ones that from the sideline parents can say, "Oh, he was tripped. He was tripped," but he probably wasn't even contacted
I
there.
didn't see it. Next, we have a super easy holding, right?
Yellow card for the
Followed by
yellow
the yellow.
player.
Yeah, I mean, just watch it. How can you miss it?
Yeah, just grabs him right
Both
there,
arms. He's got both arms.
pulling him back.
Yeah.
Not a dog, so because he's not headed to. There's plenty of defenders and everything. Did you call that a yellow card for stopping a promising
Yeah.
attack or
Yeah.
for just
Promising attack.
unfair?
Yeah.
There we go. Nice.
Next up is another no call. Ball's coming in for black. Black and yellow are going for it. Yellow initiates the contact, little contact, but mostly his right foot just loses ground and he just basically falls over.
It's almost like he slipped on a wet spot on the
He
field.
must have. I mean,
That's
the field
weird.
was yeah, the field was great. It wasn't
Yeah.
horrible, and that's what I tell him there. Nothing. Get up.
Go back to playing.
Yeah,
He didn't even try to argue with
no.
him today.
But and then we just turned around. And we went the other way.
Yeah.
All right. Now about a minute later from the last no call from a throw in, yellow just pushes black.
And he gets his foot up there
Yeah, gets his
high, right?
foot and his hand.
Now black is jumping high, but yellow doesn't even get close to getting the
Yeah, he
ball.
just
He just
flips
sits
it
there
in
right
the
there.
air. You flag it. I waited for a second just to make sure you confirmed the foul, and you did. So as soon as you started wiggling, the whistle was blowing.
Yep, 100%. They get pretty easy when they're like those.
Yeah. All right. 5 minutes later, we see a very good slide tackle from Black. Yellow has the ball. You'll see the slide tackle. I was right there. I mean, I'm telling him he got the ball.
And that is a nice side tackle. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was a good slide tackle.
watch him like as a defender, gets there, stops it, yellow initiates contact over him.
I also waited to see just in case. It definitely looked like a ball, like all ball to me. But our AR over there, Isabel, also didn't give me the waggle, so
Looking to see if
just a
she
confirmation.
saw anything from the
Yeah,
other side. Yeah.
right.
Now, this is one. I think this was the first time that we got any noise from the sideline. These spectators had been really, really good the whole game. That's the first time that they're like, give us some of the hey, hey, but it only lasted like a second or two. And then when
And
they
of course, it's all the way across the field.
right,
So
and when they see their player get up and not even complain, they're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Now after a throw in, yellow gets the ball. Black is coming in strong, but I think yellow here realizes he's about to lose the ball, so he throws an arm or a shoulder and pushes black off balance. It looks like maybe the foul should be for yellow, but I was right there. I remember seeing yellow being a little bit more aggressive without playing the ball, knocking black off balance.
Right there, you see black kind of, even though it's behind a couple of players here. If I just back this up and play it play by play, yellow's got position, but then black just out hustles them, and then right there, you see the black player kind of do that forward thing that happens whenever they get shoved off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you were in perfect position. You saw exactly what happened right between them. With
yeah.
the camera angle here, it's on the other side of the field, and we have a couple of people in our way, but. Yeah.
I only wish that the AR would probably have confirmed the call as well, like you did on the other side.
Yeah.
Gave me the wiggle and confirmed the push. That way, we both looked like we saw exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
Our next foul is against the goalkeeper. Ball's up in the air. Goalkeeper jumps up with arms in the air, and yellow just kind of throws his body at the goalkeeper's body, not even really trying so much for the ball. His arms are on the body, the goalkeeper's body, he's off balance, just throwing the goalkeeper off balance, and so that's easy foul. And you see Yellow's reaction to he knows it. Whistle's blown. He says, "Hey, right here, sorry, keeper."
Yeah. Have to protect the keepers in those situations. Those will end up getting away from you real quick if you if you let them run into the keeper
Yeah.
too much. As I know from some of our previous episodes on Roughing with the Sapper, go back and check some of those if you want the what happens if you let them run into the keeper too much.
Okay, here we have two players jostling for the ball. Ball's below their feet. They're trying to find it. Black gets frustrated, holds Yellow's left arm
Right there.
right about there.
Yeah, otherwise he'd be another step. He'd
Right.
already be running with it.
Or passing the ball too,
Yeah.
like he did right there.
Pretty easy hold. Give it to yellow.
Here we have a pretty clear handball, especially from the angle of the Scott's angle, the assistant referee side. Uh, Ball gets kicked and hits the hand. Not even just the arm, hits the hand,
And it's way out.
and it's out. And he reacts, he stops.
He knows.
Yeah,
And I was the AR on this side. I had a perfect view. You had a couple of bodies between you, which is why I think you wait just a second to blow the whistle. I go ahead and pop it up. That's one of those that sometimes like you can get the because of the angles, like if I don't see that, if I'm watching the line, we can miss that, honestly, even as obvious as it is. And the sideline will say, hey, that's obvious, which it is from the side. That's where working together, if I'm watching at least some of this while also keeping my line, I can help you out there.
Yep, that's what the crew does. All right, coming up, we have a what ends up being a deduction because I think there's now looking at it with this angle plus slow motion, black does make contact with yellow right there. Of course, yellow gets up real quick right away. Gets up and still has the ball.
I
So
think that up to there is fair contact, but it's kind
mhm,
of right playing here in slow motion. Right there, that kick is what sends him down. And what's interesting is like I'm standing right here, I'm looking right at it. You would have had a good angle on it from the other side. Neither one of us call it. I cannot remember exactly why I didn't. Maybe I thought it just wasn't hard enough, but I would have been the one probably in the perfect position to see that. We end up letting that play, but with the benefit of the slow motion here, I think that's probably
yeah,
missed.
I'll take the deduction on that one. We should call that one because then it goes out for a throw in and it's black's throw.
Yeah, so they lost it.
Yeah. Okay, final call of the first half. We have two players going for the ball. Black has a beat on it, and yellow just tries to knock him off, impede him, and knock him off the ball, or attempting to get the ball.
That black player, he was pretty fast. Like
Yeah.
we've seen him a couple of times, like not be in position and just out hustle the other team. I think that's another one that happened here. Honestly, it's almost exactly what happened in one of the earlier calls where he out hustles him, and as he goes by, is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he gets shocked enough that he gives him a little bit extra, right?
Okay, now first decision of the second half is handling. Ball bounces and hits yellow in the hand.
Yeah, just kind of hits on the ground up off his foot, right there.
Huh? Yeah, and I'm inside of 10 yards, so obvious to me, obvious to everybody again. All right, here we have a quick transition from one side to the other side. Yellow's going for the ball. Here's our slide tackle guy. Another good tackle.
That's a really nice tackle.
Gets the ball, and
Yellow initiates the contact.
yeah, Yellow doesn't jump high enough to clear him and trips over him.
I actually remember this one from the sideline. The parents were trying to yell again for because it looks dramatic, right? They're trying to yell for a foul, and the coach even corrects them, like, "No, no, no, it's all ball, it's all ball."
Yeah, hear the audio. You can hear him
Yeah,
saying it.
yeah.
After a long clear from the goalkeeper, just want to point out really cool chest pass from the defender here.
He even controlled that, didn't
Yeah,
he? Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he
that's
he meant
nice.
it to
Yeah,
go that way. Unfortunately, Zero Black mistimes it and he scoops it up with his arm. And
yeah. He's trying to put his arm back, and then he
yeah,
he just can't bend
he
anymore.
can't in time, and so it does hit every part of his arm on the on the way down.
That is an impressive chest pass here, though, like, because he sees that and he like
Uh-huh, yeah,
flicks it, trying to get it to his teammate
yeah.
into that open space. That's nice. Nicely done.
Right. Then our next decision is a pretty obvious standard trip. Ball's already gone, and here he comes. Boop.
Just clips him.
Yeah, sweep the leg, Johnny.
The ball's way gone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Gets both legs.
yeah. Okay, here we have a no call. Keeper came out way out of his penalty area to try to clear the ball, but in clearing it, it bounces back off of the yellow player, and then there we have what would you call that? A tangle of legs. They both go. They both go for the ball at the exact same time.
It's an equal challenge. I mean, it's just a good challenge. I mean, right here, this black player defender, like he should feel more urgency and he should be kicking that ball out, right? But
Right.
he kind of lackadaisical goes for it, lets the yellow player catch up with him, and then they both get the ball at the same time. And
Yeah.
it's almost like, do I see the yellow foot? It's like it rolls off the top of the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't see any contact there between black and yellow at all, though.
I mean, not enough for me for a foul. Like I said, they were both going for it. Black does seem to get the ball because he kicks it that direction, towards the corner.
Yeah.
And again,
Even watch his body language. He gets up and starts chasing it,
Yeah,
right? He's not screaming for a penalty kick, which they
right.
definitely
And
want.
nobody in the sideline was either, so
Yeah.
they just thought it was good play, good hustle. Our next decision is a couple shoves in the back. The first shove, yellow still has it. There. Second one, a little bit more forceful. He actually is not playing. Black is not playing the ball.
It's right
He's
there.
just trying to go through his back. The second time,
Yeah.
of course, I waited because yellow still had the ball. But
And some options there,
yeah,
right?
no,
If they turn
exactly,
it into something.
exactly. I always say, rubbing is racing in soccer. So I saw the first bump. Yellow still had it. Second bump was a little harder and on the back, and that was enough. Our next decision now is also going to be another handling. Yellow tries to clear the ball. One black jumps, and in doing so, sticks his arm out, and it hits his arm. And blow the whistle there.
You waited a couple of seconds there to blow that.
I did. I guess I saw it, but then I was also hoping that my AR would confirm it.
Looks like she was content to let you manage it.
I guess. Here we have a clear holding. AR is right there. Scott's right there.
He just grabs
Black's
him.
left arm. Yeah,
He's got both hands on him, pulling him back.
almost getting a piggyback ride.
Yeah. I remember I talked to him after that. I'm like, dude, you gotta calm down a little bit. They don't get a whole lot easier than that when he's got both hands on each side. I don't even know what he's trying to do, doing it right there in front of the ref. At least try to hide it a little bit.
Here we have what I thought was a light pull of the shirt, and yellow is trying to oversell the foul. In fact, there is a pull, so there is some sort of contact there. But at this level of play, I just thought it was too light. No way I'm gonna award that. And then especially, so you see, you get a little pull here. Obviously, you see the pull, but it's quick and it's light. But the selling of the foul was what got me too. I didn't think it was enough, but I was not gonna award that.
For me, so I had the angle, I was the AR on this side, so I'm looking behind this, and I just felt like I was surprised this wasn't a foul on the field. And in fact, I thought about waving my flag, but except for that's not my quadrant, right? So normally you wouldn't expect an AR to call it in that area. So I left it down. And I know what you mean, like okay, he definitely tries to sell it afterwards, but I've also always kind of approached it for myself from the standpoint of just because they try to sell it doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't a foul beforehand. You're kind of left with a no-win situation. Do you reward the selling it, or do you reward the fact that they were actually fouled? And from my angle, I thought he got pulled a little bit off of this. So I feel like I would call this each time, but then you're a more experienced player than I am too. So tell us in the comments. Like
Yeah,
we
it was
can't
just
quite seem to agree. Tell us in the comments. For you, we'll play it again here in real time. Do you think this is a foul for you, or is this a you'd let that go?
every time I see it, no way.
You're not
I
calling it.
am not rewarding that.
I think I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it 8 times out of 10. So I say we take
Yeah,
the half point.
at this level for sure. Youngers, maybe,
Oh,
but at this competitive level, mm-mm, nope.
well,
And especially because I had already seen from Placer United two additional flops earlier, but you haven't seen them yet.
all right. So now because we can't agree, we're gonna score it as a half point deduction. But let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments. Who do you agree with? Would you call it one way or the other, or would it be okay either way? But let us know what you think. We'll end up somebody whoever loses with the least
Beer.
comments has to buy beer.
Okay, so about 7 minutes later, we have another no call. I just, two players jostling for the ball. Yellow is just a little stronger, fairly.
I don't even see his arms perfectly
Now, I mean,
straight
they're both
down.
slapping a little bit, but just
Yeah.
nothing major. And Black 3 knows it, and he gets up right away. He lost the ball.
Yeah. You tell him to get up,
Yeah.
but he doesn't. He doesn't even try to argue. He just keeps going.
All right. Another 5 minutes later, we have to me, clear push in the back. Black pushes yellow with his arm, and he dips. And he
Right
pushes,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he pushes yellow off balance.
Right there, you can see kind of his arm in his back,
Arms on his back, and
just
he,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah, gives him that elbow
makes
right
that extra
there.
little
There
dip.
you go. And that's where you start to run the. Now they're starting to like give each other a little bit extra bump. That doesn't turn into anything, but it's the kind of the start, right?
It wasn't a dirty game after all. It
But
just got more intense towards the end of the game because it was a 1-0 game.
yeah, 1-0 game and a bunch of testosterone on the field, so they're
Mhm.
going to give each other the extra bump or two.
All right, here I ended up calling a trip. Yellow trips black. He- They're fighting for the ball. Yellow falls because he's off balance. I didn't see a push. I'm looking at it from the center circle direction. I don't see a push from black to yellow. Yellow's just falling because he's off balance and he is trying to stretch to kick that ball away
Which
there.
he does get it there, yeah.
Right. And then here, black is trying to get the ball as yellow is trying to get up and moves his foot and trips black.
As we were talking about this and analyzing this before recording this part of it, like we had a long debate about whether or not because yellow got that ball first, is this actually a trip for black? But you had an observation about how it wasn't like his foot was just established there
Right.
because it's there, it's down, but then he starts to lift it.
Yeah.
Right?
So for me, if the foot would have stayed down at the exact moment that it touched the ground, and Black would have just jumped over it and gone for the ball, no trip, right? But because he was trying to get up, his foot was moving and it moved into the Black's path. And even if it clips just the toes is enough to take you down.
Yeah. So we're going to score this one as a right decision. Carlos convinced me. But let us know in the comments, like, what you think. Do you think this one should have been a no call because Yellow got the ball there first, or does that action of moving his foot back up as he's trying to get up, does that kind of initiate the a new kind of trip decision there? We're getting close to the end of the game. I think there's only two decisions left, and this happens to be our only offside decision of the match, and it happens on my end of the field. Now, where this camera is on the very right hand side of the screen would be the halfway line. You can't even see it because where the camera is looking at towards the middle of the screen, but I'm basically standing directly below the camera looking out. The ball is out here in the center. So right here is kind of our moment of decision. We see the ball fly up. It's been flying a fraction of a second. If we play this forward here, we'll see right there this yellow player runs in. Right here is the halfway line. So he ran from that side. He was not off by much, but he was off by, probably half a body length and came back to get it. This is one of those instances where people look at it and they see, hey, look at how far back he is. There's no way he was offside, but they don't realize, hey, he was beyond the halfway line before he called that.
He's in his own half, ref.
Yeah. So you even see me here, like I do this with my hand to say, yep, he crossed back, he crossed back. So as we were about to wrap up the game with the final call, we were talking and realized that we had actually missed a yellow card in our review here and remembered that there had been a yellow card for dissent. So we're actually going to back up probably another 10 minutes in this game and talk real quick about a yellow card that happened down in this corner. So Carlos, if you want to walk us through it.
Okay, here we are. Yellow's attacking third, going towards goal. Def Defender and the attacker are jostling. It goes out for a corner kick, but Yellow gets up and starts, taunting, clapping
Right
at the
there.
player.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to quell that. So went over to the player, took out my yellow card right there, and waited. I watched just to let him calm down, and he knew it. He smiled.
There is he trying to convince you, or is he?
He did tell me. He did say he called me something. I go, yeah, but you reacted, so
This is towards the end, we're getting in the latter quarter of the game, 1-0 game. They're trying to compete, so tempers are rising up. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and add the decision for the yellow card here, even though it happened a little bit earlier in the game. But yeah, this ended up being one of those moments that as we look at our next decision, probably kind of contributed a little bit to that.
all right. There's gonna be a lot to digest on this one, right? This last one. Black.
Stupid
I
boys.
know. Black will have the ball. Black has to score at least one to tie. It's 1-0 game.
I think this was even final seconds. Like they even pulled their keeper up by the time
Yes,
it was all
it
said
was
and
the
done. Yeah, yeah.
final decision. So Black has the ball. It's a little mushy over there. You'll see him slip a little bit. And then here, so I'm inside of 10 yards. I didn't see a push from Yellow to cause him to fall harder than just a basic trip. But I think that he did trip for sure. He trips his right leg.
And you called it right away.
right away.
Yeah.
But in his motion, I think his other foot just kind of gives way and he falls a little harder than he probably could have otherwise. So I didn't think it deserved a yellow. But then here's what happens after that. This I did not see right away. I didn't see that they were trying to, maybe yellow was delaying the restart.
And there's
Now,
no, this is really weird. Like, why does, you've already blown the whistle.
I've already blown the whistle.
You're already signaling. There is no reason for this yellow player to come back after
Right.
that ball. Like, none. And then because he kicks it, they
Yeah.
start going at it.
Both start pushing each other a little bit. One, two pushes each. And I'm there. I'm reaching in my pocket for a yellow, but they break it up.
And then it looks like it's kind of all settled. Black's going to set up for their kick. If we look over here on the left-hand side, we're going to see these players walking here. I think it's these two right here. And it's almost like this black player, you can tell from his body language,
Said something
he's
maybe.
he's talking, right? And then there's this little shove, right? Right there, right? And now we got a whole new thing coming in. So now this keeper here, he was already coming up. His coach had told him because it was the last play of the game to go ahead and let's get everybody in the box and try to get a goal. So that's normal in this type of situation for the keeper to come up. But it's interesting. The you watch here once that kind of what looks like it could turn into a mass confrontation happens. You see me start to run out there. I'm going to help out if I see it get any worse, and at least take notes and do whatever I can. Now this breaks up pretty quick, but then you were there in the middle of what was going on.
Yeah, I ended up finding the instigator of the pushing of the second group and giving him a caution for that.
If we take this back to kind of the beginning of that whole sequence of events that happens, like what do we kind of think maybe we should have done differently?
I would have rushed, called the foul, and rushed to that ball right away.
There,
Rushed to the spot. Of course, all that happened so fast, right? I mean,
yeah,
I was no more than 15 yards away. Even if I had sprinted all I could, that might have still happened. But I would have been there,
yeah.
closer, blowing their eardrums with the whistle. And maybe that would have stopped here.
I kind of think here that that's right. I believe I probably would have carded at least that yellow player for coming in delaying the restart because I
Yeah,
think he instigated by going for that ball. I might have even carded them both for the mutual pushing. And I think that probably would have prevented maybe what we saw down here, though you never know if they're talking, who knows what might have happened there. But you did end up carding the push down here, which is right. You did call the foul here, which is right. I just feel like there's a missing card in this space here.
yeah. At the time, I didn't see it as a quick restart. So I wouldn't have given it a delay. Had he kicked the ball somewhere else, then clear, right?
Yeah.
But since the whistle happened right away, and then within a second or half second, that those two players went for that ball together at the exact same time. It just didn't process as a delay of the restart.
So I think at the end of the day, there's through this entire sequence, there's kind of three decisions here. One for the trip, one for should there have been at least one yellow card here, and the other for the yellow card for the pushing closer to the goal line. So three decisions. I think the one that's missed here is at least one missing card here. So that'll be a deduction for that one, but three decisions that we'll add. And then basically immediately off of that set piece, we have the end of the game. So that was a good game, and let's see how we did. So with 32 decisions and three deductions, that gives Carlos here a Sapper score of 90.6%. So a good game, a very solid good game.
Well, it's a crew of three. The
Gives,
three of
gives the
us got
crew, gives the
90%.
crew, gives the crew a good game. So you feel pretty good on the
Yeah,
field. Yeah.
yeah, it was a good game overall. I think at the end, it's just like in any game this competitive and this age, and a 1-0 score,
Yeah.
that can happen. So lessons for me is at the end, that last decision, maybe more yellow cards would have been needed. But no, overall, it was a good game. Both teams were good and relatively respectful.
So that wraps up this episode. Special thanks to Carlos for joining us, being willing to review one of his games, our second guest reviewer in games. So
Thanks, it was fun. Thank you for having me.
always a lot of fun. So
It is.
join us back here next Friday when we'll have another game review. I'm Scott,
I'm Carlos.
and we'll see
See
you
you
out
on
on
the
the
pitch.
pitch. It's a 11 a.m. kickoff. I can read.
Yeah,
I haven't yet carded anybody for simulation, but I've actually had a.
I was close with it. So it almost looks like his ankle twists. It doesn't Aaron Rodgers.
Too soon. I had the same issue. I told you about the player who said that he was called an asshole, and then I said, "Well, I didn't hear that." But then, are you? Do you think he went down because of that pull, or you think he went down because he felt the pull and he wanted you to call it?
Oh, definitely.
Now we can skip it if you prefer. I
Well,
thought I
I need the decisions.
you're above 90% right now. Sometimes you listen for the, what do people say? Take that, and factor it in, or make fun of it. I like this camera angle. It makes me look slimmer. It's where the two cameras go
It's gonna
together.
get close and I'm looking that way. You see
It,
my belly. Like,
I
it
didn't
wasn't like
catch
he was
that,
in
but I
line.
wonder what's this guy
They're
trying
just
to.
idiots.
That's why we do
Yeah.
this. That's why we have the riffing with the samples. Special guest Carlos Ledesma. I can't believe I missed that in the review too. That was obvious.
So that's two already.
I just wanted to keep your score down.
I guess.
I couldn't have you like having one of the best scores on the channel.
Couldn't have it, huh?
Couldn't have it. Couldn't have it.